Flandy friends. So, I saw The Little Mermaid, and we need to talk about it. Starting off, a little tidbit about Flandy is that I suffer from thalassophobia, which basically means that deep water, mainly dark water and the void around it, just freaks the hell out of me and gives me really big anxiety. And it doesn't even have to be real. Playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey and swimming down deeper, watching the water get darker and darker, or playing Maneater and seeing the large whale shadows in the dark water. I love both of those games, but those were times where I had to take a break from it. And this movie had several scenes which made me uncomfortable and anxiety filled. The reason I'm telling you all this is because those scenes where I was suffering through were the only parts of the movie that I had any feeling other than just boredom. But before we dive into this absolute shipwreck of a movie, as always, if you want to stay up to date on the news and reviews in gaming and entertainment, consider liking and subscribing, so at least my suffering is worth something. Just a little something. Now, let's take a look at this. I'm going to start off with the good of the movie, and what I actually did like and enjoy, because there were aspects of it that I did enjoy. As always, spoilers ahead. First things first. They have different types of mermaids that look like different types of fish, which I thought was neat and visually enjoyed, even if we don't get to see them really often. I like variety, and they were some of the most colorful things in this movie, at least when we're underwater. Which, speaking of things underwater, I actually like Sebastian, which honestly surprised me. Most of it was from the charm of the voice actor and the lines given, but out of all the CGI horror-fest creatures that are in this movie, his was actually entertaining. For some reason, rather than go full cartoon look or go full realistic, they did this half and half quality, where he doesn't have normal crab eyes, but has more cartoonish ones so that they can be more expressive. Sadly, Flounder is mostly forgotten in this, which is probably for the best, because while the voice actor does a good job of capturing a Flounder-esque voice, the animation on Flounder just isn't great. I mean, he just doesn't look like Flounder. Still, I much prefer this attempt at a hybridization between real and cartoon rather than the full-on realistic ones to Lion King, because we at least get some emotion. Though, really, let's be honest, animated is still much, much better and should just be the preferred option anyway. The other things I like were Eric. I'll admit, it's been a while since I saw the animated version, and other than him being a sailor and stabbing Ursula with a ship in the animated one, which, spoiler, it's Ariel that does it in this one, that's all I really remember. This version of him is more fleshed out. He's an adventurer and a dreamer, and like so many Disney princesses before him, he just wants more. Which, I mean, does go in line with Ariel wanting more from her life as well. My one nitpick is that he risks his life far too much as a prince. Seriously, in the opening of this, I didn't even think he was a prince with the way he was swinging from ropes and whatnot, because who would let their only heir do that? But in this version, the kingdom is a lot smaller and on an isolated island, so I guess normal rules and decorum aren't exactly the norm here. Which does bring me to the other thing I liked, which was the island itself. I don't really know where the animated version took place, so I know the original story came from Denmark, but this kingdom is now in a Bahamas-esque setting, and I think it fits the tone really well. It's a more colorful and exciting place, which honestly would be more attractive to someone like Ariel than the more stuffy and official setting of the original. She wants to see the human world and how exciting it is, and yeah, the one that she is presented with is far more welcoming, exotic, and entertaining than what we got in the previous one. So, points for that. Aside from one other thing, which we'll get into later, that's about all my praise for this film, because the rest is really a straight downgrade from the original. First, my nitpicks. Early on, we see Ariel and Flounder having a conversation when Scuttle dive bombs him, grabs a fish, and eats it underwater. Which is a scene I feel needs to really be taken scene by scene, because when you have a world where the fish can talk and animals can talk, I fully expected that the fish should be screaming for its life and screaming for its family or just something. But no. I guess that fish can't talk, and I guess Ariel is just amused by its murder in front of her. Help! He's eating me alive! In the original, we don't see the mermaids eat anything that I can remember, because aside from kelp, yeah, they're probably gonna eat fish. But my god, it's a terrifying concept where you can hear them scream. Like, Lion King didn't ever show us the lions eating anything. I mean, Nala goes after Pumbaa, which was played for laughs, but fuck, could you imagine a scene where she actually catches him and starts eating him? Because that's pretty much what played out with Scuttle, but I guess Ariel wasn't besties with that particular fish, so, fuck them. Several minutes just talking to Ariel. The Dinglehopper scene with the Ford takes place entirely underwater because Ariel isn't allowed on the surface, and I just. Okay, Disney. Sure, whatever. Birds can breathe underwater now. Another nitpick is Ariel herself, and no, this has nothing to do with race or hair or anything else because honestly, she does really well in this role. And I really don't have any complaints about the actress so much as I do Ariel herself. And it's just mainly because I am bitter and disillusioned with our world, but no, girl, no. You absolutely do not want to come up here with us humans. The Sea World is probably much better. We are horrible creatures, and please stay away as far as possible from us. But aside from that, in the back of my mind, I do wonder if she would have enjoyed the human world as much if instead of marrying a prince and getting to go on grand adventures in the live action one, or live the life of a queen in the animated one, if instead she gave up her royal and carefree life in the sea to instead be a maid or have an actual human experience. Because that's kind of the kicker, isn't it? Even though she wants to be part of our world, she really isn't. She immediately goes from becoming the 1% in the water world to 1% in the human world. And yeah, would you have found our world so glamorous if you had to do as Sebastian put it? On the shore they work all day, out in the sun they slave away. Because something tells me you might have hopped back in the water real quick if that had happened. In fact, now I want a Little Mermaid where she falls in love with someone who is just a normal person and see how true love really is. Which is something else that I'm tired of. In the old animated movies, love at first sight wasn't quite as big of a trope or really thought about as much as it is nowadays. If you're going to do a remake or reimagining, why not fix some of the old tropes rather than just do it shot for shot? I mean, once again, it's love at first sight and 3 days to get true love's kiss, and yeah, that's just not how the world works. And I get it, it's a fairy tale. It's just, I've seen this fairy tale before. I want to see something new, a new perspective. And once again, they just don't give us anything new in it. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. They do give us a few new things, which is actually the part that pisses me off the most about this movie. All the new plot points that are mentioned, but never touched on or fleshed out. See, this is pretty much a shot for shot. It's just they change a few lines and create so many unresolved issues with it. First is Trident's 7 daughters after the 7 seas. To the best of my knowledge, this was something that the fans talked about online, and I don't ever think was official, but it is just ever so briefly mentioned offhandedly in the beginning, and I would have liked more. Honestly, I would have liked to have seen more or any of Atlantica, because the shining and brightly lit city is never shown in this. No, all we get is a dimly lit area where Trident sits and broods, and that's all we get, and it just irritates me. But not as much as of offhandedly mentioning that Ursula is Trident's sister. Yeah, another fan theory I'm almost positive of, that I know I've seen better renditions done in Tumblr posts than on here. How are they better, you may ask? Because they actually talk about it. Once again, here it is mentioned by Ursula, "Oh hey, Ariel, it's Auntie Ursula. I'm Trident's sister who got banished 15 years ago." Cool. That's cool. Instead of giving us the same drivel as before, please, follow this up. This is new. This is interesting. Were your mermaid transformed into what you are now since we know the Trident has transformative powers? If not, why are you this way? You have magic. Cool. How? Why? Why were you banished? What did you do? But it is never explained or brought up again. Much like Trident's wife dying to humans, much like several shipwrecks that Eric's kingdom has faced because of fierce storms supposedly brought on by Trident. In fact, Eric's original family was killed in a shipwreck. The island is said to slowly being eroded by water as well because of the Sea King. All of these are interesting plot points that are mentioned and never touched again. Honestly, as cliche as it would have been, I was honestly expecting for there to be some over-the-top convoluted explanation for all this, such as Eric's dad killed Trident's wife, but it was because Ursula tricked him into it for some reason. Thus, Trident banished Ursula from the kingdom, Eric's ship was destroyed by Trident and he was the sole survivor. Trident then caused storms all around the island as a punishment so no ships could come or go, and slowly destroying the island because of it. I figured it would all be tied together, which, yeah, it's cliche as hell, but damn it, it's still better than the absolute nothing we are given here. It just infuriates me because it shows there were some ideas. Ideas stolen by fan theories and Redditors, but ideas nonetheless, and they just went nowhere with them, which is honestly more tragic than anything that unfolds in this movie. Which, for the record, I don't even know why the dead wife thing was such a big deal. Trident dies in this movie, like straight up gets turned to ash by eels somehow. I'm pretty certain Ursula didn't blast him with a trident, rather the eels just kill him. But then when Ursula dies, the trident just fixes him, and even says that it brought him back to life. So if it has that much power, why didn't he bring his wife back? Maybe because she was on land? Maybe because humans decided to try and see if Mermaid was all white meat? I don't know, because they never explain it. Just like they reference Ariel having a siren song, which is apparently a mermaid's gift. It is referenced that she used her siren song to heal Eric. Which, okay, interesting development. Does Eric actually love her, or was he under her siren spell? Is that why she had to win him over again without her voice? Because if so, that would have been cool if it explained at all. Then when Ursula has it, she uses a voice to mesmerize him. So it clearly does have some sort of mesmerization properties, it's just never explained. And another change. Ursula has several mermaid corpses in her lair. Not mermaids turned into little horrid creatures that Ariel doesn't realize were once mermaids. No, I mean skulls, and a floor littered with dead mermaids. Look at that. There are skulls all along the wall. Why would you trust this woman?
No! No! That does not happen, movie! That just does not happen! Unless you, I don't know, explain!
Okay, calm down, Planny. This film is not worth your rage. The final thing I want to talk about is the music. The music is okay. Part of Your World is beautiful and well done and easily the best sung song. But for me, the overall best song in the entire movie was probably Kiss the Girl. Visually, it was the most entertaining and it had the most light and heart, and honestly, I think I liked it the most because whereas every other song in the movie just kind of comes to an abrupt standstill for, this one actually furthers the plot and keeps things moving. Things are happening rather than just the singing. And yes, they did change the lyrics. They changed it from, "It don't take a word, not a single word, go on and kiss the girl," to, "Use your words, boy, and ask her. If the time is right and the time is tonight, go on and kiss the girl." And some people might be upset by that, but it's not the first time Disney has changed lyrics. I remember in the original Aladdin, the lyrics were, "Where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home." 2, "Where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home." And that was back in 93. So Disney has been changing lyrics for a while, and to me, it's not that big of a deal. What is a slightly bigger issue than changed lyrics are the new songs, which there are 2 of. And I don't know, guys. Prince Eric gets a song, which I'm all for. I love the Beast Evermore song. But I don't know if it was just the recording they went with or what, but Prince Eric's song just came out really bad to me in this one. Like, you can tell the guy has heart, but it was just hard to focus on the lyrics, and I'm still not really certain what the song was about. Scuttle gets a song too, but it gives you whiplash, as it is a really hyper and high-energy song just to lead into a scene of Ariel's heartache when she finds out the prince is marrying fake Ursula. Guys, this movie wasn't good. Honestly, it was boring for the majority because I've seen this movie before, only done better in a lot of ways. And I know it was boring because despite being only a little over 2 hours, I felt like I was watching it forever. Hell, I got up halfway through it to get a drink refill, and I did not even care nor have the energy to hurry back to watch it. The problem is, it's not an awful film. It's just not as good as the animated original, which makes it rather a pointless film in my book. But, like I've said before, I expect to see a lot more of these, because despite being mediocre, they are still making bank for Disney. That's all I've got for now. I apparently had stronger feelings about watching this movie than I did while watching it. And honestly, much like Prince Eric and every Disney princess, I was just left wanting more. Until next time, guys. Bye.